A new development for President Trump's border wall, the rule change that could block a legal challenge against it.
You're that squeaky wheel. Rather than getting grease, you're probably just going to get sledgehammered and thrown away.
It's one of the largest bribery scandals in the history of the Navy. How the Navy is trying to navigate the embarrassing case of Fat Leonard.
Being able to change the life of somebody for generations is something that gives me chills just talking about it.
In building the American dream in San Diego, the volunteers who are donating hammers, wood, and time. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. The Department of Homeland Security announced today it will waive environmental rules for the president's border wall project, which may frustrate a legal effort to stop it. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has the story.
The DHS waiver means a number of environmental laws, regulations, and other requirements no longer apply to the project. A federal statement says the move ensures the expeditious construction of barriers and roads in the vicinity of the international border near San Diego. The Center for Biological Diversity recently sued the federal government to stop efforts linked to border wall projects. Center Attorney Ryan Vasquez says the federal action may short-circuit their challenges.
The scope of the authority that they're going to try to use remains unclear, and we feel good that we have some arguments that can hopefully take down the use of the waiver this time. But it will be a difficult legal fight for sure.
CG will focus legal attention on the fact that the waivers allow for the construction of a border wall. That wall already exists in San Diego, so this waiver may not actually apply. Department officials say there's an immediate need to improve current infrastructure and to build additional barriers and roads. The waiver will apply to 15 miles of the border fence that starts at the ocean. It also applies to border fence demonstration projects that are being built nearby. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Imperial Beach officials are poised to sue the federal government over cross-border sewage spills. Tens of millions of gallons of raw sewage flowed across the border through the Tijuana River Valley this past winter. Imperial Beach Mayor Serge Dedina wants better sewage treatment facilities on both sides of the border, quicker public notifications, and a major river valley cleanup. If there's no movement on those requests within 60 days, Dedina says he'll sue.
We think these are the most egregious Clean Water Act violations in U.S. history. The amount of toxic waste being discharged into the border canyons and into the Tijuana River are absolutely out of control.
Federal, state, and local officials have all promised to help, but their solutions are not even close to a fix. The flow of sewage overwhelms Tijuana's system and would take hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade it. The San Diego County Water Authority has asked the state Supreme Court to resolve a long-running dispute with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. The Water Authority has sued several times over how much the MWD charges for transporting Colorado River water to San Diego. This latest petition comes about a month after a lower court reached a split decision. The Supreme Court justices have about 2 months to decide whether to accept the case. An investigation into the San Diego Association of Governments has found the transportation agency abused public trust and pushed the boundaries of California public records law. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has more.
SANDAG made big mistakes in the run-up to its unsuccessful sales tax, Measure A, last November. Executives ignored warnings that the agency was overestimating how much revenue it would be collecting. And once those overestimates were revealed in the media, SANDAG executives told staff to start deleting documents relating to the scandal and to store them on a server that was shielded from public records requests. These are just some of the findings in the report released late last night. It will be presented to the SANDAG Board of Directors on Friday. The report concludes, quote, by failing to adequately explain how and why it overestimated the Measure A revenue forecast, SANDAG lost employee morale and forfeited the public's trust. The investigation is likely to embolden efforts by State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez-Fletcher to reform SANDAG with her bill in Sacramento, AB 805. Last week, the agency's board of directors voted to craft its own reform measures that could be placed on the ballot in San Diego County. Gonzalez-Fletcher mocked that decision in a tweet, saying, quote, "But really, they can reform themselves. Out of my mind. Time for a state investigation." To read more about the investigation and its findings, go to kpbs.org. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Residency restrictions for sex offenders will stay in place in San Diego. Today, the San Diego City Council voted to keep an ordinance designed to do just that. Even though City Attorney Mara Elliott says the Child Protection Act hasn't been enforced since 2009 because of concerns over its legality. The act prohibits registered sex offenders from living within 2,000 feet of an amusement center, arcade, daycare, playground, park, or school. Elliott says at least 40 cities in the state have been sued over similar laws. Health insurance premiums under Covered California are expected to rise more than 12% next year. The announcement comes amid lingering uncertainty over the future of Obamacare. Officials say some Californians will see greater cost increases if President Trump succeeds in withholding funding for the ACA.
I urge President Trump to stop undermining the Affordable Care Act, to follow his responsibilities as president under the Constitution to enforce the laws of this land and to enforce the Affordable Care Act. However, if President Trump continues to insist on not making the cost-sharing reduction payments, then I will sue the administration on behalf of consumers in the state of California.
Nearly half of Covered California's consumers benefit from government subsidies that help reduce the cost of deductibles and co-payments. Meantime, Anthem Blue Cross is discontinuing service in most of the state, which will force about 10% of Covered California customers to find a new plan. More people are banking on the worst-case scenario for earthquakes in California. A new report by the California Earthquake Authority shows a spike in earthquake insurance sales that started last year. The agency saw an increase of more than 52,000 policies. That's more than 7 times the 7,200 annual average.
I think Californians are becoming more educated about what the earthquake risk is. We all know that we live in a state that's prone to earthquake, and folks who live in the state, whether they're owning a home or renting a home, or they have a condo or a mobile home, they're all subject to damage of earthquakes.
Their claim-paying capacity now also exceeds $15 billion. According to the agency, this is more than enough to cover damages sustained by a major quake. Since 2013, a growing number of naval officers have appeared in federal court in San Diego. The Navy is struggling to answer the ethical questions raised by the case of Fat Leonard Francis. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh has the story.
The bribery scandal dates back to at least the mid-2000s. Officers up to the rank of Rear Admiral have been indicted for accepting bribes in exchange for handing over classified information. Though Leonard Francis isn't just a criminal matter for federal prosecutors, Fat Leonard has become an ethical embarrassment for the Navy.
In exchange for classified information, Fat Leonard treated U.S. naval officers to decadent orgies in Manila.
In March, a new round of indictments were embarrassing enough to attract late-night host Stephen Colbert,
including a raging multi-day party at the Shangri-La Hotel with a rotating carousel of prostitutes. Of course, the carousel of prostitutes is the most popular ride at Prostitute World.
Aside from the embarrassing headlines, or perhaps because of them, the Navy is changing the way it teaches ethics. Tom Creeley was a naval officer in Hong Kong in the early 1990s, before the scandal. When Creeley refused to let an American salesman on his ship, the conversation abruptly shifted to horse racing.
You know, there was this one horse that really made me a lot of money. And I'm sitting there in total amazement, and he says, that was the Tupelo Loose. Well, I'm from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Creeley now teaches ethics at the Naval War College. He tells his class that was a bribe, And when Creeley still refused to let the contractor on the ship, that salesman threatened to go to the U.S. ambassador. Creeley is now reworking the Navy's ethics education to help other officers resist temptation. He started at the War College 3 years ago, just after the first indictments were announced.
A lot of times people such as Fat Leonard, he tries to find people's weaknesses.
The Navy is still trying to figure out how to react to the bribery scandal. Just now, the Navy is ditching a required yearly online ethics course in favor of face-to-face training. The idea is to make ethics part of the daily conversation. I talked with the head of the Navy, Admiral John Richardson. He took over as Chief Naval Officer after the prosecutions became public. He's confident the Navy is making the right changes.
The tearing down forces all around us are severe, both inside and outside the military. And we just need to do everything we can to strengthen our people to resist those tearing down forces so that they remain on that road towards becoming the leader we want.
The Navy is changing officer evaluations. Though the program is so new, the Navy couldn't actually provide a copy of the new form. They want to zero in on character. Officers will be judged on ethical behavior. The scores will be used when officers come up for promotion. Experts say repairing the Navy's ethical climate won't be easy. In San Diego, the Navy handles its own ships. Though often around the world, they have to rely on private companies. Now, there were officers who felt Leonard Francis was overcharging the Navy. They were often thwarted by other officers who are now under indictment, who helped steer Leonard Francis's contracts through the system.
The way the military personnel system is set up today, it fosters a culture of careerism, where it does not pay to rock the boat.
Dan Grazer is with the Project on Government Oversight. He specializes in national security. He believes the Navy needs to make life easier for officers who stand up to their superiors.
If you're that squeaky wheel, rather than getting grease, you're probably just going to get sledgehammered and thrown away.
Pauline Shanks-Corinne teaches applied ethics at Pacific Lutheran University.
Scandals of this kind and scale don't just appear overnight. It's not just one bad apple.
Many of her students are in the military. She thinks the Navy is quick to blame the individual, but leaders are less eager to challenge the Navy's culture.
I think that's problematic. I think you don't have individuals within an institution acting in this way unless there's some kind of culture that facilitates that or makes that possible.
She urges the Navy to dig deeper and look at its own culture, which produced so many officers who buckled under temptation. Experts we talked to say it could be years before we know whether the Navy has really closed the ethical gap uncovered by Fat Leonard. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
In today's San Diego housing market, finding affordable housing can be a challenge. San Diego Habitat for Humanity leaders say without their program, some families would never realize the dream of home ownership. Today, volunteers were busy helping to make that dream a reality in Logan Heights. They're building townhomes. Selected families have to qualify for a mortgage, show a need, and put 250 hours of sweat equity. San Diego-based Realty Income donated $325,000 to this project. That's about the cost to build one home. And the company's staffers volunteered their time and labor.
It is a real gift and an honor for us to be able to be a part of something this meaningful, and being able to change the life of somebody for generations is something that gives me chills just talking about it.
The first phase of the $3.8 million Logan Heights project is set to wrap next June. Game on. Los Angeles residents are thrilled to host the 2028 Summer Games. A new poll from Loyola Marymount University showed 83% are happy about the date. That's compared to survey results last year when polling showed 88% support for the 2024 Games. California lawmakers will likely have to reapprove $250 million for the Olympics. A law passed last year authorized the funding in case of cost overruns. It only mentions a 2024 Olympics. The measure passed with wide bipartisan support. The city of Los Angeles projects it will not need to tap state funding. In its bid, the city predicts revenue will cover the cost. Well, it was a warm, overcast day in many parts of San Diego. Aaron Calandra has more in tonight's forecast.
Take a look at this radar and satellite for the last couple of hours. Way more green. That's precipitation on this map than we have seen here in quite some time. All the way from the coast to the mountains and deserts. Pop-up thunderstorms and showers, and it's going to continue here through Thursday. We have this moist air. It's actually an east to west pattern. So this moisture from the deserts is just pushing on over here to San Diego County. Here's a bigger look. Really some scattered wet weather here all across Southern California. For tonight, 72 degrees, a thunderstorm in spots. As I said, that's going to continue here for a couple of days. Along the coast here, expect some wet weather, some cloud coverage. Even inland, it's really the same story for all of us here. Not everyone's going to get wet, not an all-day washout, very spotty activity. Borrego Springs, 81 degrees, Poway, 71. Here we are Wednesday, again, spotty activity. It's monsoon season, so we have this moist air coming in from Mexico. That's what's creating all these pop-up thunderstorms in the deserts, and we have this pattern where the winds are moving from east to west, so they're sharing their wealth with us as far as precipitation. So San Diego County tomorrow, again, spotty activity, storms are expected, 92 in Poway, Alpine 91. The desert's hot, 100 degrees, not as hot as it has been, and in the 70s here in the mountains. Here's the 5-day. Thursday, we will see improvement. Temperatures in the 80s. By the weekend, it's going to be dry and sunny. Perfect weather to hit the beach. Inland in the 90s all week. Spotty thunderstorms through Thursday, and then it dries out with plenty of sunshine. In the mountains, again, spotty activity pretty much any time in the mountains. Temperatures in the 70s, so that's definitely a cool retreat. And in the deserts, triple digits all week long. Spotty activity as far as thunderstorms. More likely Wednesday and Thursday, though. Then Friday through Sunday, more sunshine should be expected. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
Households and businesses do budgets all the time, so why can't Congress manage to make one without so much drama? Marketplace senior reporter Kimberly Adams breaks down the overly complicated process for creating the federal budget.
Let's have a talk about the federal budget. Lots of people and businesses do budgets all the time. So why can't 500 plus people in Washington manage it without drama, right?
If members of Congress can't pass a balanced budget, then they shouldn't get paid. It's just the way it works when you're in business. It's the way it works in the real world. It doesn't work that way up here.
In some ways, the budget you make at home is like the federal budget. You have your income, the money coming in, the stuff you have to pay, like taxes, transportation expenses, student loans. Then you have the categories where you've got a little bit of wiggle room. Going to the movies, those fancy new shoes you want, that's what's known as discretionary spending. For the government, the budget has to include those categories too. The income is tax revenues, also known as our money. Then the stuff that has to be paid, like interest on our national debt, entitlements like Social Security and Medicare. But most of the fighting actually happens over that discretionary spending. It's about a third of the budget, which seems like a big chunk, but there's never enough to go around, and it's broken into two sections: defense and non-defense. Now, for lawmakers, it looks pretty bad to cut too much from the military, so that just leaves about 15% of the budget for everything else: agriculture, education, food assistance, foreign aid, infrastructure, whatever. And Representative A was elected with a different set of priorities than Representative B. This is what you hear politicians complaining about on the news all the time.
Where are you cutting? Because programs like funding for flood control programs are critically important to my state.
Congress has up until October to pass something and get the sign-off from the president. When that doesn't happen, they have to pass something called a continuing resolution. And honestly, that's what's been happening a lot lately. A continuing resolution helps them keep the lights on while they keep negotiating, or they don't pass a continuing resolution and we get a government shutdown.
I don't believe that shutdown is desirable. What I do believe is that sometimes it is an unfortunate result of us not being able to agree.
This is a lot, I know. But even though it's messy and really, really heavy on the political posturing, federal budgets somehow still manage to get done.
The hip-hop musical Hamilton has been breaking box office records with its diverse cast. It brings to life the story of one of America's founding fathers, and it's on tour now. From our sister station, KQED's Rachel Myro chats with ensemble member Ryan Vasquez at the start of the San Francisco tour.
Ryan Vasquez, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about the role you play. Who do you play, and what role does he play in the story?
Yeah, so I'm James Reynolds, and he comes in the second act sort of as the linchpin to Hamilton's demise, sort of. He actually puts his wife on loan to Hamilton for some extra money, and that ends up getting out in this huge thing called the Reynolds pamphlet, which sort of begins the spiral of Hamilton's political career, sort of.
You're also an understudy for 3 major roles, including Alexander Hamilton. Have you gotten the chance to go on stage as Hamilton and other characters?
Yeah, actually, the day of my 25th birthday was my put-in rehearsal for Hamilton, so that's my exact conditions test, and it ended up being the next day that I went on for Hamilton for the first time. So that was really an exciting way to begin the year. And then I've been on as Aaron Burr a few times, and tonight actually will be my first performance as George Washington. So I'll have everything knocked out after tonight, which is a relief.
How do you keep it all straight in your head?
Yeah, it's really wild. It's definitely an all-hands-on-deck situation at Hamilton. Everyone's really working to the extent of their ability there. So I have, you know, a tablet with all of my notes and all of the little diagrams and the audio of the parts that I sing and everything. So I just have basically a key that I can keep and sort of do a speed review before the show. And then you just cross your fingers and you hope that your brain and your mouth are coordinated enough to say all the words at the right time.
Now, you're a member of the touring cast, and obviously Hamilton was made famous on Broadway. Do you guys get the chance to put your own personal stamp on the show?
Yeah, it's been nice, actually, because the other companies, because there have been people coming in and out, they're sort of like a patchwork quilt almost, you know, and we are still our original group from rehearsal in New York. So it's nice that we all had that 6 weeks of rehearsal and then we all moved here together. And so I think there's a special energy that is associated with this company because we all sort of created it together. And of course there's an outline. We're still doing the same Hamilton as is done in New York and Chicago and London soon, and you know, but we, having been together from the start, I think have a sort of a special bond that is palpable, I think.
Now, before New York, there was San Jose. You're a local boy made good. And I believe you started in San Jose at the tender age of 8?
I did, yeah, I did. I did shows at the Children's Musical Theater of San Jose growing up from age 8 to post freshman year of college. I came back and did another show there, and so that's really where I got the bulk of my sort of theater education, and that mixed with, I went to Bellarmine College Prep for high school, and so that was a different sort of side of my education as a person and as a young man, and so I think all of those things kind of simultaneously working together allowed me to approach theater as a not just a hobby, but as sort of a business and a career, and taking it seriously. And so I attribute, I mean, the Bay Area and those experiences I had there a lot to the success that I've had, yeah.
Now, I imagine you get this question a lot, but given the nature of the story, an immigrant son made good in Washington, D.C., why are the tickets so darn expensive?
It is wild, yeah, it is. You know, demand is a crazy thing, you know, and I think what's interesting is I think it's good that the show, especially the traveling company that's going to be all over the country, is going to share a message with people from actually different sort of economic backgrounds. What's cool about Hamilton is because the tickets are so expensive, it's offset by the fact that we do something called Ham for Ham, which is a lottery system where you can see the show in the front couple rows for $10. And so it's nice because the expensive tickets allow, you know, people who would not be able to even see a Broadway show at all to come and see something that's sort of this pop culture phenomenon for, you know, a reasonable, you know, for just a Hamilton. So
one last question. This is a very a tough role that involves dancing and acting and singing. What's your favorite part?
I love when playing Hamilton. It's going to be a unique experience because my girlfriend, actually, of many years, is Eliza Hamilton, his wife. So when I do get to go on as that, that is my favorite part. Being able to share the stage with her is really unique and cool.
Ryan Vasquez, what a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me.
KQED's Rachel Myro with Hamilton Ensemble member Ryan Vasquez. Now here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. On Morning Edition, California has successfully completed one of the first major steps in managing its groundwater, the next step for landowners and groundwater users. And on Midday Edition, a free food park in City Heights. Sample a slice of this Eat San Diego project tomorrow on KPBS Radio. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.